In this video, I'm going to show you how to run wedge cuts in your mesh using two really amazing methods, okay? The first one's going to be box cutter. So by default, when you're running a box cutter, your cut's going to simply go through the mesh, right? So it's enable it and, just a regular cut. But what you can do, you can press W when you're doing this. So draw a cut, press W, and you'll see a line, and you can switch between this edge, regular cut, and this edge. And if you draw this cutter, you'll see you're going to be drawing a wedge cut, right? And you can again flip this between this edge, regular cut, and this edge, right? Cool. Let's apply this. Now, another thing you can do, you can run something that's called perfect wedge cut, which is basically a 45-degree wedge cut. So if you draw a wedge cut, hold Control, and it's going to snap to 45 degrees and click, and you're done. But the coolest thing is that you can actually run different operations on this, right? So let's run something like this. Run it down, hold Control for a perfect wedge cut. Then, while you hold Control to lock the shape, press Shift and T to taper. And boom, right? In addition, you can run bevels. So hold Control, press B, press Q for quad bevel, right? Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, shift click, GZ, and move it up here so we're outside this bevel area, so we do not project these loops onto the mesh, and boom, you get something like that. This will also work with circles, n-gons, anything you want, right? So if I run a circle cut here, I can do the same thing. I can just run a wedge cut, right? It's pretty cool. And we're just scratching a surface here in terms of what hard-ups and box cutter can do, but if you're interested in learning all the tricks and tips and the amazing amount of tools and the operations you can do with hard-ups and box cutter, I really recommend you grab our best-selling course, the Ultimate Guide to Hard-ups and Box Cutter, which is a best-selling course, and for a good reason. You simply cannot get better education on these two add-ons on the market. Even the documentation is outdated, so this is the only source of complete knowledge, on these two add-ons, and we've been using them for well over 6 years now, probably close to 8 now. And, we know them inside out. So there are not many people, maybe outside, Jerry himself, who know these add-ons as well as we do. So you're in good hands. So anyway, grab the course. It's fantastic. The link is in the video description and in the comment pinned under the video. But what I want to show you is I want to show you how to run wedge cuts with Mesh Machine, because it's also possible, okay? So let's just run a cut like this here for fun. Cool. So now, Mesh Machine wedge cut is really interesting, okay? What you do for this wedge cut to work, you need to be in edge mode and you have to have a mesh created. So you need to apply the boolean. So now let's just, for example, grab this edge and go to Y menu and wedge, right? And then you see you have this diagram, kind of like two lines, and you can move them up and down. You can also press F to flip them to whichever edge you wanted to run the wedge on, and you click and hold and you draw it in or out, okay? And you can go outside the mesh if you wanted to, but let's say we're gonna go in here and release, boom, and there's your wedge cut, right? Another thing you can do, you can scale the point of this wedge cut. So let's say I wanted to grab this edge, and let's see if we actually could draw it in here, wedge, and we're gonna draw a wedge in here like this, and watch this, right? I can press S and move this point here, or flip it and move this point on this side, right? Or I could grab this edge and go to Y, wedge cut, right? Flip it, press S and move this edge up and down like this. Then click and hold and go down here, right? And create cut like that. So you can create some really interesting cuts with this mesh. So there you go, that's how you run wedge cuts with Mesh Machine and Box Cutter. And like I said, if you want to learn more about add-on workflow, grab our course, the Ultimate Guide to Hard-ups and Box Cutter 2.0. It's just phenomenal. The links are in the video description and in a comment pinned under the video. And if you're a beginner and you're still confused about the black magic you just saw, then I would highly recommend our course, the Hard Surface Accelerator, which is going to teach you the basics of Blender. So, you know, how to use all the tools, how to understand all these menus, how the modeling works, what are the principles of hard surface modeling, how to render stuff in a way to create really appealing portfolios to attract clients, impress your friends, and all that stuff. So grab that course instead if you're new, and the link is also in your video description and in a comment pinned under the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.